We were pretty famous back in high school.
Trust us.
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast.
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous.
Hello and welcome to High School Famous, the podcast where Matt and Sean talk about stuff and things and have a good time every time.
Indubitably.
Yeah, that was better than the first take that nobody's going to hear.
We don't need to. You just love not.
Who cares?
You just love pulling back the curtain.
Yeah.
Well, then, if we should have just kept this recording going the entire time, waiting for me to restart everything.
Oh, yeah, because that would have been great of everybody just hearing all the silence of me sitting there waiting for you to start your shit back up.
You can't vamp. You can't stretch. You can't.
I think if we listen back to last episode, it will be proven that I cannot.
I haven't listened to it yet to know how well you did.
It was not. No, it wasn't good.
It was you left something to be desired, basically.
I mean, I think every episode leaves something to be desired.
More episodes.
Yeah, that's how you turn that one around.
I'm in the minds. I'm tapped into the minds and hearts of our listeners, Matt. I know what they want. They want more of us.
I think that's illegal.
Well, it depends on what do you mean? What do you mean illegal?
Tapping into them.
Yeah, I shove a good old fashioned phone line into their body cavity.
I think tapping is illegal. It's unconstitutional.
Well, if you don't get permission, then yes.
So you've gotten permission from all of our listeners to tap into their hearts and their minds?
Now you say all. What does that mean? Is that suggesting?
I don't know.
Is that suggesting there's more than two?
Well, I mean, the statistics make it seem that way.
Let's not keep going on about how many or few listeners we have. It sounds desperate. I know I brought it up, but
yeah, exactly. You're yelling at me about unveiling and open. I'm just looking behind the curtain, and then
I'm just saying collectively, let's put this to a halt and let's get into.
So, if you were to say how many taps you did, no, okay.
If I had to put a number on it,
if I had to put a number on how many taps you performed, I'm getting pretty good at it now. I've done at least a baker's dozen.
I've put a tap on one keg. Does that count? I've tapped one keg.
Tapped one keg. I don't think I've ever tapped a keg, to be honest.
Actually,
I might
not have actually done it. I forget why.
Are you dreaming that you did, or you just didn't finalize it?
No,
you put your hand on it at one point.
I want to. So wait, what is tapping? Is that just pumping it to pour beer out?
No,
it's actually putting the tap in.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think it was.
If you pumped a keg
when we had that birthday party for Sarah in the basement of the Big Lake house, that was where we had the keg, right? Or was that at?
Sure.
It was either that or the the after the wedding party we had at the house. One of those two events is when we got a keg, and then someone put the tap on the keg, and I thought it was me, but I don't really remember doing it, so I might have had someone else do it that would have known what they were doing, because I would have had no experience in that before. But I'm just going to say it was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just ignore all that. Ignore everything Sean was saying. He did it.
I tapped a keg.
Yeah. Good job. Good job, you.
Some number of years ago, I can't even remember how many. Depending on.
I would hope. Yeah, I would hope you would have less memory of how much time has come between it than the fact that you don't remember if you actually did the task.
Yeah,
if you were more specific on the time frame, I would have been more. I'd be kind of worried.
I bet I did it. Yeah.
So confident.
I bet I did it. Yeah, I'll put money on it. I'll bet against myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, $30. $30 says I tapped that keg.
Hey, me, $30 says I did it.
Matt, your shirt has a bear on it with a winter cap.
It does.
What's the deal? And a sweater.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a winter shirt.
Yeah.
It's a very thin. It's a very thin winter shirt. I think
are they saying that a bear's natural coat is not enough for it?
Well, I mean, he was going to
we humans are going to help the bear with its
shortcomings. People dress their animals up in sweaters and stuff all the damn time. I'm sure you put something on your dog.
So someone owns this bear? Someone has this bear as a pet?
I didn't say that. I just said people put things on their animals all the time.
Yeah, so this is an animal with human clothes on.
You were arguing the fact that that bear isn't the bear's coat itself isn't enough. I'm like, well, people dress their animals up all the time, so they obviously feel that their animals' coats aren't thick enough to handle it. So what's the difference? So what? Why judge this bear? Why judge this bear for wearing a sweater if people dress their animals up all the time? I'm
not judging the bear. I'm judging whoever dressed the bear.
It's a cartoon bear, Sean.
It's very realistic.
It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon bear. It's not. This is not a photograph.
No, I know it's not a photograph, but it doesn't look like a cartoon bear. You know, it looks like an image of a real bear.
Well, I mean, any
2D.
any drawing of anything would be a cartoon version of it, would it not? Even a realistic drawing of something would still be a cartoon version of it.
That's a good question.
Actually, isn't it to qualify as a cartoon? Doesn't it also have to be like motion? Does motion have to be involved?
Because then couldn't you say that any painting is a cartoon version of whatever they're painting?
Yeah, is cartoon more so referred to as the moving version, like the
animated,
or is animated? Cartoon? Yeah, animated. That was the word I could not find.
Yes, I could tell.
Or is cartoon referred to as a style?
Well, if it's referring to it being animated, then you would almost be able to say that if I were to draw one cartoon something, like let's say I draw Donald Duck, but I don't draw several pages of Donald Duck with slightly different positions to make it look animated when I flip through the pages, is that one drawing not a cartoon?
Okay, so
there are political cartoons and stuff like that are in newspapers and comic strips. I think they're cartoons, so they're not animated.
According to the dictionary, cartoon is defined as a simple drawing showing the features of its subject in a humorously exaggerated way, especially a satirical one in a newspaper or magazine. And definition 2 is a motion picture using animated techniques to photograph a sequence of drawings rather than real people or objects. So the answer is both.
But I would say that your bear then is not a cartoon.
I guess it's not technically a cartoon. It's an illustration, probably.
Yeah, it is.
It's a both realistic and exaggerated. I guess it could be considered a cartoon because it's sort of exaggerated, because a bear would never, for one, sit in this position.
You're right.
Yeah, it would never be in this position or wearing that outfit. And he's also has a pipe in his mouth.
I was just going to ask. It looked like something was sticking out of his mouth too.
Yeah, it's hard to tell in the camera, but yeah, there's a pipe in his mouth.
I mean, the long and short of it is, what we're trying to get at here is I hate Matt's clothes.
Yeah, would you rather me take it off?
No.
Yeah, okay, so
there are other things
options.
There are other things I hate more. I'm willing to tolerate your clothes to avoid the alternative.
Wonderful. And that's the 10-minute story we decided to start this episode.
Here we are. Now we have nowhere to go. We've come to a fork in the road of sorts, or maybe we're at the dead end. I don't know. But so I was supposed to get a TV stand today.
Why didn't you? We talked about this yesterday. We talked about TV stands yesterday on the phone. It was exhilarating. These are the kind of things Sean and I talk about off.
And now we're gonna talk about it on mic again. No, I ordered one and I put the pickup window between 10 and 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And it never said it was ready, and so now I got an email saying it's delayed. And so I will not be able to get it until tomorrow. And
lovely.
My only guess is, how would they delay an order of one item? Is maybe that they just don't have it. That's the only thing I can think of.
See, and then you think you would have seen that at the point of ordering?
Yeah, it said in stock. So
Yeah. So either there was either their inventory was off, or somebody, like, maybe they had one, you ordered it, and somebody, and it sold within the time of you ordering it and somebody going out to go get it off the floor.
That could be one of those two things. Could be. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, I'm currently still, my TV's still on the floor.
So you're watching everything, looking down upon your viewings.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah,
actually,
it's probably more eye level than it used to be.
Yes, yeah, and the place looks, even without a coffee table or any end tables, the place looks really like not very cluttered. It looks very nice and minimalist. Well, yeah,
it looks very bachelor patty, like
sort of.
Yeah, like like you're a couple of milk crates away from having like a college dorm kind of thing going on.
I don't. Okay. Oh, you want me to describe what my computer is sitting on right now?
Is it sitting on a box that you previously had some stuff moving?
No, that was last week. That was last week.
Okay. You've upgraded?
Today it's on 2 upside down empty laundry baskets.
Is that an upgrade or a downgrade at this point?
I'd say the rigidity of the laundry basket compared to the box, I'd say that's an upgrade.
You think a laundry basket is more rigid than a box? Or is it just more rigid? Is it more rigid than the boxes that you had that were maybe a little bit beat up and worn out?
It's more rigid than a cardboard box. I'm not about to grab my laundry baskets and fold them in half. Or, it's not assembled. It's not assembled using a tab system and tape. It's molded. It's molded into the shape that it's going to be in forever, unless it gets melted down or something.
I didn't realize you had that kind of laundry basket money. You got some of that good laundry basket money.
Plastic laundry baskets?
Spending some big dollars on laundry baskets.
What do you have? The real flexible plastic laundry baskets?
I have.
Or do you carry all your stuff in a sack? Do you have a laundry bindle?
Usually because I'm the kind of person who likes to basically just let their laundry pile up until it's absolute last minute and I gotta wash it, or I'm gonna have nothing at all. So usually everything ends up in one of those big IKEA bags.
You know why that's a really bad idea?
Why is that a really bad idea?
Because in my experience anyway, it takes much longer than 1 minute to do laundry.
Okay.
You said you wait till the last minute.
This is the kind of caliber of humor Sean brings to this podcast every week. Just that.
At least? Is it at least that caliber?
Oh, it's at max that caliber.
Well,
not
so
at
far,
least.
I mean, this particular session, I have yet to hear any humor from your side of things.
That's your opinion.
All you've done is looked up what a cartoon is.
Yeah. I bring facts, Sean. You're supposed to bring humor. I bring facts.
when did we establish this setup?
It's just it happened that way. It's been ingrained over 60 plus something episodes, because I don't keep track of which episode we're on until I start to post it.
I
think we're at like 65 or something. I don't know. 64. Cool, that'd be cool. We're at 64.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a cool number.
Yeah, 64.
I remember being in school and just thinking, man, 64.
Gosh.
That's the cool number. Yeah. You're so close to retirement.
Whenever I get quizzed on my favorite number, it's 64 every time.
Every time. It's so divisible.
It is.
Yeah.
By 2, by 8, by 4, by 16, by 32. Like, you can do a lot. You can do a lot with 64.
Yeah, it's super divisible. Like,
it's a number of bits.
Almost too divisible.
It's a number.
It's annoyingly divisible.
This number is baffling mathematicians across the globe. It's too divisible.
Oh my god.
It's a number of bits for things.
Yeah. I mean, the N64, for crying out loud.
That's where I was going.
One of the gaming systems
that's been released in history. What else was PlayStation 64-bit? The original?
Original was 32.
Really?
PlayStation was 32, and then I think wasn't the PS2 like 128 or something?
I don't know.
I thought it was because they were just like, yeah, we're just gonna continuously just double each other every time.
Yeah. What did that seems? I don't
do that.
I don't know what the current systems are at, but
I'm sure it's not even. They don't even look at bits anymore.
No, it's all about your resolution, right? It's all about being a 4K resolution game.
Yeah, they don't care about bits anymore. It's all about. It got to the point where it was so much. They're just like, look how realistic this is.
One thing that, and I don't know if it's specific to games or if it's specific to a system, but it's the refresh rate, the hertz. You want 120 hertz,
right?
For quick, smooth motion.
Yeah, everything's getting to the point though where it doesn't even matter. Like your eyes can't even register what crap does. It's just like 8K TVs are pointless.
I mean, 4K is basically pointless.
Yeah, it's like your eyes can't even pick up the differences anymore.
Right.
To the point where it's like they're just gonna keep getting better and better and better and better to the point where it's just like it's like you're looking out a window. It's happening right outside.
I think the benefits to continuously being increasing the rate, like the resolution, right? So go from 4K to 8K, for example, is you can capture a larger image with all of it being in detail still. I think what it means is you can just get more. It's not that if you film a person in 4K and then at that same distance you film a person in 8K, you don't notice a difference, but you can be zoomed out much further and shooting in 8K and still be able to zoom in onto whatever you want to zoom in on, and the detail is still there. I think that's more the benefit at this point of going up and up and up in resolution. It's not about the clarity of the image that you're watching. It's about being able to get bigger shots and have the same amount of detail no matter how much you zoom in.
So that matters at the point of filming then?
It
not
does.
At the point of me watching it at home?
No, it does, but I think it also matters in the when you're editing. Let's say you want to crop out certain sections of a shot, you can zero in more.
Okay.
And have the same rich detail. Let's say you shot a huge. You just went back and took a huge wide shot of some scenery, right? Mm-hmm. But then you decide you want it to be like a panning shot, so you can zero in on a section of that and just move the camera angle all the way across, and it still looks super sharp across the whole thing, even though you zoomed into a more finite part of the picture. I think that's what you're getting now. I think that's why they're continuously increasing the resolution amount. It's not that the naked eye sees anything more clear, but it gives them more flexibility with filming and editing.
But still, doesn't matter. I'm watching it from home. I'm not filming anything. I'm not editing anything. I'm just saying, personally, I would never need anything to that caliber because I'm not going to ever use anything like that. But the other thing is that eventually you won't be able to get anything under a certain amount. Like to buy can you even go buy a brand new TV now that's not 4K or 4K or up? Are they even still making TVs under that amount? And it's just like, eventually you won't be able to get anything at those lower values because, well, for one, they're not going to really sell. Nobody's going to buy them. But two, it's just like, I would never in the rest of my existence, I would never need to purchase an 8K TV, but eventually that would be the only thing I could ever buy,
Yeah. Nowadays, I'm not sure what the threshold is, but the smaller screen televisions, I don't think are going to be in 4K, or at least they aren't now. You can go get like a 30-something inch TV that's still 1080p, I believe, because I don't think there's any point whatsoever to cram a 4K resolution onto a small screen like that.
Right.
Oh, I don't, like I said, I don't know how small the screen size is where they switch it over from 4K to 1080p. If it's 46 inches or something like that, I don't know. But obviously, the better resolution is going to benefit the bigger screens the most.
Right.
And there's really no point whatsoever to doing that high resolution on such a small screen.
You know what? This is all obviously thrilling discussion, but you know what? That was sorry. I'll warn you next time when I'm being sarcastic.
We fell into the sarcasm.
But what I think what sucks kind of about the higher resolution TVs is when you watch like an older movie or something on it, it just everything, all the flaws and everything in those movies just stands out so much more. Like like bad 80s like blue screen work.
Oh yeah.
Just everything, like how accentuated everything is now. Like if you watched it back on the day on like a tube TV, it was just like, this is so cool. Like it looks so good. Right. Now you're watching it and you're just like, you can basically just see all the crap and just like how like disjointed and disconnected everything looks from the environment around it.
And that's when they go, okay, is this movie popular enough? Is it worth it to, enhance it or restore it or whatever they say to fix those things?
I think some of those movies would be probably pretty easy to do that too, though. Just go in and just like, oh, how quick and easy we could enhance this shot to make it look clearer, Like I was thinking, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know what it takes to make a movie like,
well, let me tell you.
No. If you make a movie in the 80s, it's clearly going to be I don't even know what.
Late. If your plan is to make a movie in the 80s, it's too late. Go ahead. I know I'm being an asshole.
If you had made a movie in the 80s,
there you go.
I don't even know what the resolution would have been back then, but they re-released it as 1080p or 720. Then they re-released it at 1080. Then they re-released it at 4K. I don't know what the process is to get it to be a quote unquote 4K movie when it was not shot in 4K, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much work it is to make that kind of a upgrade or upscaling on an older movie like that. As far as fixing digital effects or special effects, you're re-editing the movie and slapping the new effects over the old ones, which is not the same thing as a full overhaul, turning the movie from, say, 720p to 4K or something. So the funny thing is, let's say you have an old movie and you redo the special effects to make them, and they're using the latest stuff, and they look incredible, but they're slapped on top of the quality of the like the 80s.
Yeah, because then you're gonna have a Star Wars kind of situation when Lucas went in and did all the re-edits to the original trilogy.
Yeah,
and it's just a lot of it looks super out of place.
Yeah,
it's all out of place, but some of it looks like just didn't belong at all.
I tell you that scene that was added in between where Han was having a conversation with Jabba.
Yeah,
it looks awful.
Well, yeah, because have you ever seen the original?
Well, that scene wasn't.
So that scene had been shot.
Right, yeah.
Back, forever, but
back in the 70s, because
there was just a regular dude who was playing Jabba.
Sure.
It was just a guy that he was just talking. So Jabba was just a human and a humanoid type person. And so when they cut the scene, didn't use it, and then later on they decided, oh, Jabba's going to be this fucking like slug looking dude. Then that's when they wanted to put that scene back in, and they did that, and Jabba looks fucking horrible. And that whole thing with him. Like, so originally he that's that scene where he kind of steps on him and goes over him, and that looks obviously super horrible. Because originally he just walked behind the guy and came around. So when they redid it, then they had to I
didn't know that.
So it looked like a glitchy ass video game, and
that explains why Jabba looks so small to me in that scene, because they need to keep the eye line right for where Harrison Ford is looking. I did not know that. Yeah,
that'd have been funnier if they had they tried to change that and moved Harrison Ford's head at a weird angle.
They just cut his body out and tip it back 10 degrees.
He's just walking at a weird angle the entire time.
Just so his eye line matches looking up at Jabba's eye line. That would have been amazing.
No, the reason I even thought about
doing that, they could have just cut his head and tipped his head backward.
Well, yeah, that was what I was originally thinking, is they just made his head look so he would just be walking around like this talking the whole time, which would have also looked horrible. But
I'm picturing his whole body just.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see that. I want Corridor Crew. Do it.
Yeah.
Do that scene for me.
re-edit all of the Lucas editions in the original trilogy.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
No, I say the reason I like even thought about like that bad blue screen work is because I was thinking about the movie The Labyrinth yesterday, and it was just making me think. Yeah, I know you're not a fan. Have you actually even watched it?
That's the one always in that, right?
Yeah.
I swear that was forced upon us in school, or part of it was, or something.
Yeah.
I remember watching Willow too, I think, in school.
Okay.
I don't know why. There's no educational value in either of those movies that I can remember.
I think there's a lot of movies that we got shown in schools that weren't. It was just kind of more of a, here, shut up and watch this.
Here's a time filler. Yeah.
Yeah, the teacher's hungover. They don't want to deal with it. But no, I was just thinking about that, and I was just thinking of like, it was always that thing of like, oh, what would you like when you have kids? What would you show them like from your youth that you're just like, yeah, I want my kids to know this stuff and watch this stuff. So I was curious as to, because I'm sure, because you obviously have a kid. I'm sure. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
Obviously, spoilers. But no, I was wondering. I was just curious as to like what things from your childhood did you show Leo that you're like, oh, Leo's got to get into this, and was he into them at all?
Well, so he got super into Star Wars.
Okay.
The very first movie I took him to in the theater was The Force Awakens. That was his first theater experience, but he got scared and we had to leave part of the way through it.
And you're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen it yet. So, and then, I mean, there's a lot of things. Like I wanted to show him the Back to the Future movies. I wanted to show him, I tried to show him Lord of the Rings. So, but when I showed him Lord of the Rings, he was not interested whatsoever.
He got scared and we had to go to the theater.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings scared him, so we had to go to the theater. I showed him Back to the Future. There was a stint for a little while where I was finding movies to show him, like I showed him The Sandlot, and I showed him the Honey I Shrunk the Kids movies, and
yeah. I mean, that's more so what I was thinking about is just like, what are movies that you grew up on that you're like, oh yeah, I want to make sure like my kids, it's kind of that whole thing of like, my kids are going to listen to cool music because they're going to listen to the music I like and stuff like that. But it's like, I'm always more curious as to like what movies you grew up watching as a kid. Obviously they're super dated now that, as you're older and stuff, but what are those kind of things that you wanted to always make sure you showed them?
Yeah.
And then you cross your fingers and hope they actually enjoy them and not shit on your childhood,
Yeah, he really likes Star Wars, obviously. He likes Ghostbusters.
Good.
What I recently showed him The Mask.
Oh yeah.
the Jim Carrey movie. But man, it was really messed up when I showed him Blank Check.
Yeah.
Because that opened my eyes a lot seeing that movie again. I'm like, wow, what a very weird, inappropriate relationship there is between this bank teller woman and the kid.
Yep.
It's really, really
like,
out there.
What is he, like 12 or something? Like a 12-year-old kid?
I think he was 11 or something like that. Whatever it was.
She was like at best somewhere in her 20s, I would assume.
Oh yeah. She had to be in her 20s, and like she kissed him at the end and said, call me in 8 years or whatever it was. Like basically whenever you turn 18, give me a call.
Yeah. Don't tell anybody about this until.
Yeah. It's really really disturbing considering.
So that whole time that kid's like, yeah, awesome, I'm going to do that. And then as he gets to that point, and then he's like, she's also continued to age.
Yes,
yes.
Like, I'm no longer interested in.
Yeah. He's still working at the bank, huh?
Mid-30s.
Just to tell her, huh? You've been waiting for me this whole time. You didn't even try. Okay.
Wow.
I'm not really rich, right? That was a fake.
Yeah.
All that stuff that happened is.
Yeah, Mr. Macintosh wasn't real. I looked at the name of my computer and made it up.
Yeah, I literally tried not at all to come up with a fake name. I literally turned my eyes slightly to one side and made up a name.
And by the end of our previous adventure, you knew that it was all fake.
Right.
You knew I wasn't rich, or there was no Mr. Macintosh. You could get to open an account at your bank.
So really, what has all come down to is you're really creepy, because originally it came off as you're just trying to, get at the rich dude that I quote unquote worked for. But when you found out it wasn't real, you're like, next best thing,
right?
This 11-year-old.
Yeah, maybe I can snag this kid off the market. Snatch this kid off the market
real quick. Get him before he's even on the market.
Yeah, he's well,
that kid's not off the assembly line yet.
He's not on the good market. There are markets. There are markets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Blop 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 blop.
I mean, that's like that's buying food before it ripens. It's like getting some real green bananas.
Yeah.
That kid was a green banana.
Why did you? Okay, it's a little weird that you went to bananas, considering we're talking about a little boy. Okay. And your mind goes to a banana.
Because bananas, I guess.
Right.
Bananas are the easy. Yeah, they're the easiest ones to know, like, oh, yeah, those aren't ripe yet. A lot of other fruit, you have to kind of do a little bit of groping to figure out if it's ready.
Yeah.
So I was going visually because visually was less inappropriate.
Gotcha.
It's a less inappropriate way to find your fruit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I know what you mean. Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm very well aware.
No, like if I ever had kids, blank check isn't even remotely on the list. I went through some of the essentials, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's another one I found. Let's show them that one. Your kid was just like, I must watch a movie right now. You're like, fine, blank check.
Yeah, no, that was intentional. It was. I mean, it's. Largely.
Well, you also, you said like you watched The Sandlot. I think you told me you watched The Big Green.
The Big Green, yeah.
Which is one of those movies that has like gone away in obscurity.
Oh yeah, no one ever talks about that movie. Yeah. Oh, the Mighty Ducks series, like those movies that showed
all of them.
There's just the 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you could have probably
all 3.
Yeah, I feel like you could have done without the third one. You could have technically kind of done without the second one, but the first one's fun. And then the second one's like, this is all right.
Yeah, it's the first one again, kind of.
Yeah, but they're like, what is it, like the Junior Olympics or something they went to?
They're on like these. I don't remember if it was Junior Olympics or the Olympic team or whatever.
There's no way it would have been the actual Olympic team.
I always thought that was such a downgrade in the third movie, where it's like, hey, we were the Olympic team and we were playing against the best players around the world, and now we're up against the JV team at this university.
Yeah. Wasn't it to be like to see which team got to represent or got to like stick around at the university or something?
I think it was. I think it was because I forget what the team was called.
For bragging, right?
If the final game that happened, whoever won, their team would be like the school's team name. Like the school's team became the Mighty Ducks versus whatever team they were in the movie.
Also, huge downgrade for the team. Then why would they even want to do that? Because they at that point they're like, we have a reputation as we were this crazy ragtag team that won the right to play in our hometown. Then it was like, then we got selected to go to do this Olympic thing, and we dominated that. And now we're at a university, and our team that has this established like thing, like, oh, they're now that okay. Now, like, why would you want your team name attached to that at that point?
It's now just the team name that is represented for this university. Yeah.
Now it's just the team name for Anaheim. So
they seem to try to get themselves. All they're worrying about doing is to winning that next particular situation they just happen to be in.
Yeah.
No matter how it compares to what came before it.
Yeah.
And with the world of sports comes with a lot of people who really like to bet and place bets on things, and so you're going to have stuff like that where it's like, fine, if your team wins, we're going to change everything about this college.
Right. Which,
there's no way because they're so confident.
That's the other thing is like, who like doesn't like there's got to be a board of people that would have to like okay that
approve of it,
situation.
right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so it's just like they're like, yes, let's leave it at the fate of the game. Like,
Well, if you think about the very first movie, it's like, oh, you got into some trouble with the law? You're gonna be a hockey coach.
yeah,
Like that's his community service he has to
Right.
do. It's very unrealistic. But
yeah.
with those movies, you are supposed to just throw that all out and enjoy the ride. Suspend your disbelief, they say.
Is that what they say?
So what's your...
They say a lot of things.
So in a world where you have... In the future where you have children, what movies...
In a world where you have children.
What movie or movies are like your go-tos for? My kid better love this, otherwise I might not have a kid anymore.
Otherwise, I'm going to go back to the other world where I don't have
The
children.
other world. Yeah.
Well, I grew up watching like the Dark Crystal and the Labyrinth and like Tron, which isn't really a kids movie, but I grew up watching that. And then what were some other? Trying to think of some other good movies I grew up watching a lot of.
Well,
I watched a ton of stuff, but
based on a recent episode, I would say The Princess Bride is probably a movie you'd...
Yeah, Princess Bride was one I watched a lot as a kid.
Now, I forget, were you into Highlander, or was that more like your mom?
I liked the original movie, and that was kind of it. My mom got like super into the TV series and like all of that stuff. But no, I mean, I like the first movie. The movies after that should have never happened because of the explanation and lore of what the first movie was, but they decided to make it happen.
Money.
So,
yep.
Yeah. But so the second movie is a complete shit show and just totally changes like the entire lore of everything. So it basically just, how they just retcon shit all the time in Hollywood.
I kind of get tired of whenever there's an original movie that comes out and like the self-contained story is cool enough.
Right.
They always have to just expand the world to make more sequels or more movies out of it. And it kind of diminishes what took place in the first movie.
It diminishes the story just in general, but then it also just kind of puts a stain on the original almost,
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I really hate that a lot as well, because it's just like, because then also just the sequels never usually are anywhere near the quality or the story quality or any sort of thing of the original, because it was never meant to go anywhere past that. So then it's just like, oh, well, we got to shoehorn this other crap in. And then it's just like, oh, this didn't like live up to anything at all. And it's just, ugh. I think somebody was telling us, I thought about like the Matrix was originally, when they originally pitched the idea for the Matrix, it was for a trilogy, but they said no. So then what the first movie turned out to be was they just took the trilogy story and then just cut it down to the first movie. And then they're like, oh yeah, let's make more movies. So then that's why the second two movies are lesser quality, because they're just like, all right, well now we have to write more story that didn't exist, that we didn't have planned. And
that was I think that was, Mike, Mark, or Eric, one of the two.
Yeah.
Or one of the three that did that. I mean, I could see the studio's concern, because it was a completely original movie story idea, so it's always a risk.
Well, and it was being done by people who didn't really have a track record at that point,
Yeah. And this was before the Lord of the Rings, right? Movies. 99 was the first Matrix, and I think the first Lord of the Rings was 01 or 02 or something like that.
Yeah.
Where they're like, no, we're making all three of these movies pretty much all at once. Yeah. Where the plan is to make all the movies all at the same time. And then
because there's no way. Can you imagine if they didn't have faith in the Lord of the Rings and they're like, nope, you have to do it in one. You have to do the whole story in one movie.
I mean, I don't know how much story there is, because I know there are big chunks of the story that are not in the movies.
And then I think there's stuff in the movies that isn't really in the books half the time probably. Too, especially with The Hobbit.
But I mean, with those, just talking about the three Lord of the Rings movies, not the Hobbit movies. I haven't seen the Hobbit movies, but there's so much movie
Yeah.
in those two movies. To try to stuff all that into one story would have been
it would have been so terrible to imagine all like even if it was just 1 3-hour movie, because I mean they're all freaking 3+ hours long anyways. Yeah. But if they had to cut it all down, I mean, imagine worse. What if they had to make it all into one just 2-hour long movie?
There's no way.
We wouldn't. I mean, we weren't even out of the Shire. We were barely out of the Shire by 2 hours in the first movie.
Oh, I know.
No, I mean, I think it was like an hour in, but
either way, like that. But yeah.
But you know, like there would have been absolutely no time to tell any of it. But again, that was a huge risk that they took because they didn't know, especially with the type of movies that Peter Jackson was coming off of doing.
I don't know what his history was.
Yeah, he made some like weird movies back in the day, but he did nothing like to that epic of a scope and all that stuff to just be like, yep, we trust you. Here you go. Here's millions and millions of dollars. Go make your movie.
Did you ever see his King Kong movie? I think Jack Black is in it.
No,
me either. The funny thing
I've seen parts of it, and it was just like there was a lot of crap put in that movie that didn't need to be there.
You know what's funny about the like when the first when the Lord of the Rings movies came out, it was such a huge technical achievement, and there was these sort of revolutionary techniques that were developed, and you talk about the Weta workshop or whatever that made all the armor and all the prosthetics and all that kind of stuff, and it was such a big deal. I would say, I mean, like I said, I've seen bits of some of the Hobbit movies, and they look the same. Like they probably,
to a point, they do. I honestly think the Hobbit movies don't work as well because there was way less practical stuff done.
Oh, really?
Those movies relied way too heavily on CGI.
So it's the prequel.
I mean,
that's funny. It's a prequel story.
Yeah. It basically, I feel it has that same kind of fate of like, and then the biggest problem too was the fact that there was no need to stretch that into 3 movies, like easily 2.
Yeah.
Like one would have been, I think they would have had to cut a bunch of stuff out. 2 movies would have been perfect. 3 movies unnecessary because they just added all this story into it that wasn't in the original book anyway.
Why do you think they wanted? Do you think that Peter Jackson just wanted 3 movies, or do you think the studio was like, we want it to be 3 movies, just like Lord of the Rings, because we want to be able to do this every 2 years? And
I haven't really looked into why or what, but all I know is there's just all sorts of extra crap. Because I think there was one. I found it a long time ago, but somebody had done an edit where they took out all the extra bits and then put it all together as one movie. And it was like, I think it was 3-something hours or maybe close to 4 hours. I don't think it was over 4 hours. I'd have to try to find it again. But basically they took those 3 movies and just cut out all the extra crap that was added in that didn't need to be there. And it was just a better story. It was a shorter story, and just it didn't add all that extra BS into it, and like extra characters that aren't even in the books, and like all this different stuff. It's just like, oh, come on. I just really hate that stuff, especially when it's a good story that you don't need to do that to. Like I get it when there's like a movie that gets like adapted from a short story or or like something like that, or an article or something like that.
Any of the Dr. Seuss ones, any Dr. Seuss book they've done a live action on, they've obviously added so much to make it stretch to be a 2 hour and a half, 2 hour long movie.
What would have been smarter than doing that, than being like, we need to have a full feature Cat in the Hat. We need to have a full feature Grinch. Make a few features, make a few Dr. Seuss features, and then do a full movie of several of his stories.
So it's like, it's like a bunch of books. Yeah.
Because then the stories could stay concise into what they were. You're not adding all this extra filler crap, and you get your live action story. But now you have a few different stories to make a whole movie. It'd
be cool to, I mean, this will never happen for us, but would be cool to try to write or figure out is like a Sousaverse where you
Like
have
they're all intertwined.
You have a story where the different book characters come into play with, like, interact with each other. I think that'd be kind of cool to mess around with.
Yeah.
But no one's gonna be like, yeah, you guys make it.
The DSSU or DSCU.
The Dr.
Seuss Cinematic Universe.
Sure. But I'm not talking about, take the, I mean, you could, I guess, but make a solo movie for each one and then make a team up movie. I'm just talking, come up with a story where kind of like in a small way, kind of like The Nightmare Before Christmas, where they're like the people from Halloween Town are messing up with things in the Christmas land and they accidentally kidnap the Easter Bunny instead. They grab the wrong guy.
But do like, that with all like that. Yeah. So like, yeah.
You have obviously Cat in the Hat. You'd obviously have like the Lorax. You'd have the Grinch. You'd have, pick some of the main players, the Green Eggs and Ham people. I don't know if there's a name of that guy.
The Green Eggs and Ham people. Well, there's Sam.
Maybe the Sneetches, the regular Sneetches and the Starbelly Sneetches. Maybe have some kind of big, cool story where all of them are there, and you can come up with ways where maybe you pick whoever the antagonist is going to be, and then one of the other characters, because of just their nature and who they are, messes things up for the antagonist, even though they're not trying to, or
So kind of like a Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse kind of thing, but it's into the Sousaverse.
Yeah,
sort of a situation.
Yeah.
Another movie that references basically what you referenced when talking about Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes. But Nightmare Before Christmas.
In case people didn't get the Nightmare Before Christmas reference, maybe they'll get my Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse reference.
Yeah, in case you didn't get a 1993
now I get it.
In case you didn't get a 1993 reference, let's go for a 2018 or whatever year that was. Reference.
For our younger audience.
Right. But again, and even for the older audience, the comic books had been doing that long before any of the
I was trying to think of something older than Nightmare Before Christmas that did something similar.
Well, technically, what year did Clerks come out? I guess he didn't really do the same thing, but he has a little universe where
but
crossover.
But only really only two characters continuously cross over. They're
in them, but they will reference some characters in the other movies that aren't in them. But
I suppose at the point of like Jay and Silent Bob, that's when a lot of the characters kind of then did come into the same story, because several people playing several different characters that they've played throughout a lot of the movies.
Right. Yeah, you're right. The Strike Back movie, they're all.
Yeah.
Did you see? I think it was. I forget if it was the 100th or the 200th episode of Impractical Jokers where they were in California. Did you ever see that?
No, probably not.
Do you ever see the bit where they have to get someone to untangle some headphones or something, or some kind of wires, and they have to,
like, within a certain amount of time or something?
Yeah, because someone's going to come up and like pull their pants down if they don't get it in time.
Yep.
They did that where the people coming after them were Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah, and they're on like the Jersey Shore, or no, they're out in California, so they must be on some kind of beach area, out maybe Venice Beach or some kind of boardwalk type of a place like that. But and the guy when it was, because I guess they were all obviously, Q has a strong tie to the whole Kevin Smith world, but obviously the rest of them probably just were fans of at least the early Kevin Smith stuff.
Right,
probably the perfect age for it. So when it came to be Sal's turn, he flew in. Do you know who Rob Emmer is?
I don't think so.
He's just a guy that's been on the show playing various characters from the beginning. He was he was Fat Crow. He was karate something, teenage karate tortoise or whatever, because they couldn't say Ninja Turtle. Anyway, he's this dude that's just, he screws everything up he does.
Right.
So Q flew in Rob Emmer the night before, so that when it became Sal's turn, it wasn't Jay and Silent Bob running after him. It was this Rob Emmer guy. And he's like, really? I was like, I don't get to have that. Like, I don't get to have Jay and Silent Bob come after me. And he goes up to him and he tries to rip the pants off and couldn't get it. He's like, he screws. He's still screwing everything up. It was kind of funny.
No, I have not seen it.
Well, you should.
If I had, then you explain.
You would
it
have
right
known
now.
what I was talking about.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't have to have told you about it, and our listeners would not have heard the story about it.
True.
So it's kind of a good thing you hadn't heard it, because we had stuff to talk about.
I mean, yeah, we talked about all sorts of stuff, Sean. Look, I mean, I've written I've written a bunch of it down.
We have,
yeah. I think I've written down what we've talked about. I sure hope so.
But I'm just referring to these last couple minutes of what we talked about. It wouldn't have been there, and it would have been something else. Would it be worse? Would it be better? No one will ever know.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we won't even know.
That's why. I included us in no one.
Oh,
yeah. We're part of no one, Matt.
We are part of no one, indeed. Sean.
We are part of no one. Hey everyone.
Hi.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for what?
We've got some exciting episodes coming up in the pipeline. So get excited
right now.
Get anxious. Get some anticipation.
No, I think yeah. I don't know. I'm still, I still do have a game I intend to play with you soon. I still haven't gotten some stuff back from some people that I'm waiting on.
Sure.
Sounds like we have another guest lined up soon.
Well, we're supposed to have two.
Two? Who's the other?
Well, Travis.
Oh yeah.
But
sorry, Travis. I forgot about you.
I didn't, Travis.
My bad. All right, so we have a couple guests lined up. We just haven't pulled the trigger on those yet. I think Sean still has a game somewhere in the mix. Maybe
I do. Yeah, I do.
Well, you said we had one that we needed a guest for, right?
Yeah.
So
it depends on if it's worth, if it's entertaining enough for the masses.
I mean, there's been so much buildup. It better be.
It better be. It's not going to be. It's not going to be.
But yeah, so I mean, we got some stuff lined up. I mean, hey, you know what? Next week, you got lined up for next week's episode, Sean.
Next week's got to be the holidays, right?
February holidays. What, as they say.
This, yeah, I like. I've sent this to a couple people where something will be said, and I'll say, "Can I get 2 consecutive whoops?"
Oh, and they go whoop whoop at you.
They go whoop whoop.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, that's what you can get out of a conversation with me.
Yeah.
Anyone. That's what you're in for.
That's what I'm talking about, Sean. You bring the humor.
You bring it.
It's there every time. It's not always consistent, but it's there.
But isn't it being there?
It's consistently there
every time. Yeah. Okay.
It's consistently there. It's not always consistently quality.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's what you get out of Sean.
Well,
he'll be there for you, but the quality of him being there might wane.
Well, I'll say quality is a scale.
Yeah, I would agree. Quality is
always at a certain it's always at a level of quality.
Yeah.
But the level varies.
Yeah. Just like most things,
It's on the rainbow,
water levels and
somewhere on the rainbow of quality.
Yeah, on the spectrum, as they call it.
Well, I said rainbow. Let's go with rainbow.
I mean, rainbows are
on the rainbow.
Are rainbows not a spectrum?
I don't know.
I would say they are.
They are. Well, then, yeah.
A rainbow is a spectrum.
So then just stick.
It's a color spectrum.
Yeah, but so I covered it being on some sort of a spectrum by calling it a rainbow.
So let's describe your comedy levels as colors, so that it can be referenced like a rainbow. Let's make this more complicated.
What color is... So would you want something on the outer edge of the rainbow to be a higher quality, or would you consider...
Yeah, it's higher quality because it's harder to get to. It's further away.
And there's more of it.
So flip it then.
So the inside... What?
I'm saying you lack... You usually put out less than top quality.
So we're not gonna be doing we're doing threat levels of
yeah.
we're in code red now. No, but I forget what the order is of a rainbow. Like what's the
Roy G. Biv.
Roy G. Biv, that's right. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue violet?
Blue indigo violet.
Blue indigo violet.
Yeah, don't forget indigo. Indigo gets left out of so much stuff. I'm tired of it. I'm taking my stand right here. This is the hill I'm going to die on. Stop leaving out indigo. That wasn't for you, Sean. I'm sorry you had to witness that. That's for the world.
I mean, but I also left out indigo. So,
all right, then you're back. I gave you an out. I gave you an out, and you came back. Screw you too. Everybody, stop leaving out indigo. No,
I'm not. No. Don't. I'm saying I shouldn't be excluded from this.
Yeah, that's why I threw you back in. I was giving you an out because of your status. Yeah.
Yeah, because of my status.
Look, I get it. I know I'm a big deal, but
I came up with the DSCU.
It's true.
Certain rules shouldn't apply to me.
Yeah. Roy G. Biv. I think we completely lost where we were with that.
Yeah. So basically what we're saying is the red stripe of the rainbow is where I want to be quality-wise of humor.
Threat level red is humor level red, which is like those are the top. Bam. That's as high as you can go.
Yeah. That's like urinate yourself from laughter.
Oh, yeah. That's like people are dying from laughter.
That's like it's you laugh so much you puke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just like everything, just like full sinus draining laughter.
Yeah.
Like full fluid release.
Like your beard is just sopped in snot.
Yeah.
And phlegm. Well, phlegm wouldn't pour out. You have to cough that up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it could get to the point where you you involuntarily cough it up because it's there. You're like choking on it, but
your acid reflux kicks up and some stomach bile is flying out.
Blood just starts seeping out of anywhere it can.
You start. It's like involuntary bulimia.
Yeah, I mean, the technical term is full fluid release.
Do you know when people say that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know when people say that they are they were voluntold.
Yeah.
I tried to get mandateering to get off the ground.
Yeah.
It hasn't been really
mandatory volunteering.
Like I'm mandateering right now.
Yeah.
It hasn't. No, it hasn't.
Basically, I was told to go volunteer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was told to volunteer for this.
Do I have to stay? Well, I know it's volunteering. You don't have to do anything.
But I was told.
Well, who told you?
Them.
We should have ended this already.
I just pointed across the room and say them. All right. Anyways, that was yet again another top quality episode, and I
threat level green.
Dare you to tell me, dude? Green is mid.
Yeah, green
is straight up middle row.
Okay, so you're saying it's like threat level indigo?
Oh God, no! I'm not saying we're worse.
I don't know where you're putting me here. Where you're putting my humor?
I thought now we were rating this episode on the Roy G. Biv scale.
Where do you put it?
I guess I'm hoping it's at least mid to high.
So I don't know. Threat level yellow somewhere.
I mean, you were probably right when you said green. This is probably a very, very green episode on the Roy G. Biv scale.
Yeah, but not the good kind of green. Not like we're managing our carbon footprint very well.
This isn't
our most sustainable episode.
Yeah, this is an unripe banana green. Bringing it back. Bye.
Yes, we did. Bye.
We are on TikTok now, which makes us even cooler. HS Famous. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at HSFamousPod. Email us directly at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. We have Patreon too, but you'll never go there. Altogether, our hearts beat as one.